needed. The budget cycle never ends in this sort of process. We've done step one, stakeholder input, which we involved our business community and our faith-based community, the governing body, and our citizens through their various committees and the citizen survey. We went back and looked. Nearly 1,100 citizens have had input during the development of this 2015 budget through all these committees and through the citizen surveys that were returned. Step two, long-term goals. The governing body reconfirmed your 4 strategic goals that we used last budget cycle. You're still using those. Step three, we talked about short-term initiatives to support your strategic goals. Those were presented to you the first time, June 2nd, by City Administrator Harrison Lee. Step four is the directions to staff. You gave specific instructions following the June 16th meeting and the July 7th budget work session. And step five is where you are tonight, having a you're reviewing again your proposed budget, City Administrator's proposed budget, and it includes the public hearing that will be after this presentation. As we discussed, you've confirmed your strategic goals. These are still the strategic goals that you're using to guide your vision for the city. Number one, promote economic development. Number two, improve quality of life. Number three, fiscal stewardship. And number four, infrastructure and asset management. All the initiatives in this budget are to support those 4 goals. So a brief review of those, since they've been presented to you twice already. For promoting economic development, City Administrator recommends 2 additional changes to the 2014 revised budget. They were included in everything you've seen so far, and things with a star, the governing body identified as a priority. So priority, downtown district plan. We also have 175th and I-35 infrastructure study. Those are both in 2014 revised. In 2015 proposed, these are the things that are still in there following the governing body's direction. These are the things that are still included in the City Administrator's budget. Marketing and rebranding, the park maintenance building, identified as a priority, land development code update, the Economic Development Council, which is Southwest EDC, and the development of an economic development incentive strategy. To support your goal for improving quality of life, the city share of the downtown sidewalks, which is a CDBG project, and the Youth Leadership Council that was developed following our faith-based communities input.
Is this a good time to ask questions, or?
Sure. That's up to the mayor.
Well, if we want to do a deep dive, I would suggest saving it until after the public hearing. If you're looking for clarification, this would be a good time to ask for clarification.
Yeah, I don't remember the Youth Leadership Council.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I can look at that presentation. It's right here. I can tell you exactly what I said.
And I guess what is... how do you spend that money?
It's to develop youth leadership initiatives. They take youth leadership programming and it also incorporates science, technology, engineering, and math initiatives.
What is that? I mean, what programs are we coming up with for that $35,000?
Maybe that's a better...
Jeff
Okay,
sent
I
me a
can
great
wait.
email. I don't know if he can forward that to everybody. That details it out.
Sure.
Yeah, we
he could probably send that to us as we're sitting here.
I think what I told you last time is that it was a National League of Cities model to develop a youth leadership council. And if Jeff has more information, as you guys discussed. Okay. So to support the goals for infrastructure and asset management, there was an adjustment to the 2014 revised budget for the facility needs study, as we discussed about the police station and the park maintenance building. And in 2015 proposed budget, is the aquatic center rehab, which was identified as a priority by the governing body, and West Side Park improvements. And then we discussed personnel, and about that at the end, by the time we get to the 2015 budget, we will have added a total of 4 FTEs, because the reorganization of the utility operations got us a -3, so. And then we were gonna add 7 more between 2014 and 2015 for a net change of +4. We talked about that. For your goal for infrastructure and asset management, we discussed the downtown water storage facility fence that secures your downtown water in a downtown appropriate 8-foot powder-coated fence. Senior building rehabilitation project, Microsoft licensing for compliance, and a utility billing voice payment system, and 2 police SUVs. To continue implementing best practices into your priority-based budgeting process, 2015 budget also includes initiatives to further enhance fiscal stewardship with the development of business plans and performance measures for each department. We also plan to do an analysis of utility systems capacity. Now I thought we'd do a discussion on merit review. Just for background information for you, the 5-year review period from 2009 to 2013, no merit increases were funded. The eligibility scores at that time, per the city's policy at that time, you were eligible for a merit increase if you scored 1.77 on a 3-point scale. That equivalent is a 59%. If you scored 59% or above, you were given merit pay if it had been funded during that period. But that policy's been in existence. We went all the way back to 2001. It was all the way back to then. If that policy had, or if the merit pool had been funded during that 5-year review period, for 3 of those 5 years, 100% of the city employees would have received merit pay. For 2 of those years, all but 1. Prior to 2009, evaluations were not completed consistently, and yet merit increases were still given. So in 2014, for the governing body's direction, there was a policy change. And then you had a policy to reward high performance, where you were willing to do a 4% merit increase for people who scored 2.76 or above. Due to budget restrictions, that actually became 2.80 and above. But it was eligible versus what we had budget. So with all of that being said, the city administrator recommends removing the merit pool from the 2015 budget for evaluation. These are the recommended rate increases we discussed at the last meeting. They are to fund your critical needs and reinstate your maintenance programs and maintain adequate fund balance for your new utility director to work with pending the system assessments. The water rate increase is the same as it was last year. The wastewater increase is down from 11% last year. There's no change recommended in the electric rates. The combined impact is 19.5 cents per day. So with that, I'll remind you that the city administrator's 2015 proposed budget was developed to build community, build your infrastructure, and build the resources you need to support your strategic goals. What's next is, as soon as I sit down, you can open a public hearing, and we're scheduled to vote on adopting the budget August 4th, at which time we'll present the future CIP.
Okay. Well, thank you, Laura. Don't venture off too far.
Okay.
But at this time, we'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing on the 2015 budget.
May I ask a question before? Yeah.
Sure.
What would be the impact of rescheduling the public session at this point if we were to reschedule even for the August 4th meeting with the expectation of then either voting on the budget on August the 21st, or I'm sorry, that'd be August the 18th, I believe.